so I apologize. So, Pacey, as you mentioned before we got going, this isn't really the first time we've discussed this or talked about this. How do you feel about the situation from both sides, from Graves and from Morrow?
God, you see, 2 days ago I would have felt completely different, I think. I don't know. I'm salty at Graves because he should know better. But I did watch Mauro Ranallo's Showtime documentary, Bipolar Rock and Rolla, like 2 days ago. And so
Yep.
I can't fault Mauro here. You know, it's the one thing he does that keeps him balanced and makes everything right for him. And he's the best at it. If you could tell me Nigel McGuinness or Beth Phoenix was better at commentating than him, then I guess you'd have a stance, but he's the best thing going, and he's great at it.
He is. I think he's probably as far as all announcers right now on television, he's probably my number 2 under maybe an unpopular and maybe an odd pick, but I think Ian Riccaboni is like the best announcer at all. He does Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor isn't doing their greatest work right now, and he's done New Japan, but I like him. He's like Mauro Ranallo, but he doesn't quite get as excited for as long or yell as much. But it's not bad because Mauro sucks me in. We feel it, and it's genuine.
Yeah.
It's genuine. But I give Mauro credit that he doesn't pull an ACH. He doesn't blow up at anybody. He doesn't send angry tweets. He doesn't say, fuck JBL, fuck Corey Graves, fuck WWE. He retreats. He takes personal time, which is not only healthy, but it's difficult for people with these kind of issues to actually do.
Mm-hmm.
So I give him credit, and I'm going to say this. I don't fault Corey Graves. I think what he said wasn't rude. I don't think it was bad, and I don't think he meant it in a mean way.
No, because he did say that he had intended on bringing it up the next night when they were sharing the booth.
Yeah, and I will say this, as somebody who has dealt with kids with this and somebody who has his own, I got my own mental problems, I honestly think that sometimes when you hear somebody else say something like that, like I think when Mauro read that, I don't think Mauro was mad at Corey Graves even, and this is just me speculating. I've got no reason to believe this is how Mauro feels, but this is me speculating that I think when he read that, he didn't feel that Graves was being mean. He honestly felt bad for himself, like, oh shit, I really respect Beth and I really respect Nigel. Fuck, did I not give them, was I being selfish? Was I doing that? And so he retreated because he felt bad about himself. I think. Well,
yeah, and then it doesn't help that all the people on the internet lashing out at Corey about it. I can assume that.
And there's people. To be fair, there were a lot of fans that were lashing out at Mauro over the same issue. So bring it back a little bit. You know what? Hazing is all part of fun and games, but when somebody's been so open about having these issues, I think we should be open about respecting those issues a little more.
Yeah, right. It would have been so good to see him on Survivor Series calling.
It could have only helped.
Yeah. As I told you before the show, I don't think NXT felt at all like NXT on Survivor Series. They had to water themselves down a whole lot across the board.
From what I've heard and kind of from what you've said, they were kind of like the what was the WWE CW?
Yeah.
Was to ECW. That was what this NXT was. It was the WWE NXT, not NXT.
But Mauro was back on NXT yesterday.
He was finally. So he did miss a whole week because he wasn't on Survivor Series and he wasn't on next week's the next week's NXT, but he was on this previous NXT. So
which, according to his track record, is pretty great turnaround time.
Oh, awesome! We're just happy to have him back. We love having him.
Yeah, no, I would hate to have something like this happen and it be the one thing that pushes him over the edge. But I think he knows he's got so much to live for. I think hopefully we're out of that. boat by now, but with that mental condition, I mean, anything's possible, and you got to tread lightly.
We all hope and pray that Mauro Ranallo outlives us all. Yeah. I think so.
Honestly, I think he will go down as the GOAT announcer of all time across maybe any sport.
Oh, that's a discussion for a different time. But it's also apples to oranges, so
right.
that really gets hazy. More controversy, though, Pasty.
Oh, yes, I'm all about that controversy. As last Saturday, Rosemary versus Taya Valkyrie versus Su Yung versus Jordynne Grace headlined WrestleCade Super Show, one of the biggest indie events in the U.S. Although this news is worthy in its own right, having four of the hottest non-WWE women main eventing a huge show like this, sadly the talk is coming out of it is the bigoted remarks of the Sandman, former 5-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion. Thick Mama Pump tweeted, "Hey, remember that time the Sandman came up to four women about to main event to tell us women main eventing is quote-unquote wrong and quote-unquote any male wrestler with any sort of experience would agree? Was this in 1998? No. It was tonight, December 2019. After a fan told her not to tell them these things because it was ruining their childhood, she replied, "How do you think I feel? Don't meet your heroes, period." AEW champion Chris Jericho tweeted his thoughts on Sandman's statement, saying, "I don't agree." Madison Rain wrote, "Gross. I hope he stuck around to see that match and eat his words." Will Ospreay commented, "Really? Most of the women wrestlers are pulling off more innovating and exciting stuff than ever before. Can't tell you the amount of times I go to watch Stardom match and want to retire because their matches are insane. Let's not interfere with progress. Everyone keep killing it." Shaza McKenzie shared, "I am speechless." Melissa Santos tweeted, "What the fuck? Wow." And Rebby Hardy simply wrote, "Wow," which is saying quite a bit because it's hard to get Rebby to shut her damn mouth.
Yeah, for her to have one word, she was fucking speechless. It's just another...
Or in the process of giving birth to their newest baby boy.
Yeah, congratulations. I'm proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sad, very bigoted remarks by Sandman that I think very few people echo, but a small vocal minority do.
Yeah. Yep. It sucks because it's 2019 and so many people are so much more progressive thinking than that. But this tiny minority is just, it shines so much more against it. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah.
One little thing, and you see it so much more. I don't know.
And to kind of put this in perspective, though, to be honest, Sandman not only has never been known for his open-mindedness or intelligence, but he's also just never been known as a good wrestler. He's said it himself. He's not a good wrestler. He had an awesome gimmick, and he could take punishment, but he couldn't fucking wrestle.
He probably just wanted them to enter him into the match.
Yeah, he was probably just drunk and was going off. You know what I mean?
He's pissed Virgil keeps getting that AEW money.
Oh, Virgil's getting that Olive Garden money. God damn. That man's been getting some breadsticks. He's been getting some breadsticks. Well, on to a less controversial topic and a shorter one, considering we had two large paragraphs. On November 26, Luke Harper filed to trademark his indie ring name Brody Lee, Pasty.
Yes.
As we have previously reported, Harper requested his release earlier this year, but WWE instead added 6 months to his contract. This due to time missed for a wrist surgery, keeping him with the company until early next year. So I would assume this just leads more to believe that he is definitely going to leave WWE when his contract expires.
Yeah, are you looking forward to seeing Brody Lee versus Jon Moxley in an AEW unsanctioned lights out death match?
I want to see Brody Lee versus Jimmy Havoc in MLW, baby.
Ooh, that would be good too. I see that name. His
Brody
name
Lee.
has a lot more stock than WWE gave it credit, and I think they're gonna regret it as soon as he gets out there in the world.
Let's put it this way: Brody Lee, as an independent wrestler, had a much bigger and more marketable name than Jon Moxley as an independent wrestler.
Yeah.
Now, as a WWE wrestler, obviously Jon Moxley definitely just rocketed past him. Nobody's taking that away. But for Luke Harper, Brody Lee, whoever you want to call him, to leave WWE, if he does, which we're assuming he will, I think that name holds a lot of value.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to him leaving.
Yes, good for him, and good on him to secure his name. That's not all in the Wyatt Family Gazette, folks.
Woo.
Bray Wyatt revealed a Fiend-themed Universal title on this week's SmackDown, which was last week, but we're talking about it now because we're airing against them live. The new handcrafted title belt was produced by Tom Savini Studios. Tom Savini is one of the most respected makeup artists in the horror genre, working on over 60 horror films, more than 40 of those as head makeup artist, including Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, Creepshow 1 and 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Ted Bundy, and the soon-to-be-released Nightmare City, as well as Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, both which won awards for the best makeup effects. If you like the Fiend Championship, you can too own one. Just visit the shop WWE.com and purchase one for the low price of $6,499.99. God damn it, pal. They'll pay $100 for a mask and some gloves. They'll pay $100 for a replica headlamp. Let's get them a title belt.
Oh, my God. Everything about this news article is awesome until that last sentence.
It really is. What's ridiculous is people are actually buying it.
That is the most ridiculous thing.
Plus, I guess the price is also based on the fact it is a very limited run, and it's only being run once, at least for now.
And every one of those, that's the $6,500 one, are actual Tom Savini Studio builds. They're not replicas. They are all official, including Bray Wyatt's, which I read, and I looked a few times before we went on air here, and I haven't got it completely validated, but I have read that Bray Wyatt's isn't even number 1. It was like number 3 or 5.
Oh, wow.
So there's a couple of them floating around there that may be more than his. First thing I want to say is this at least answers our gripe from last episode where we said, oh, they just changed it to blue and we thought it was going to be something cool. Okay, they did do something cool. Badass cool.
Yep.
So,
and it was actually the same thing that I think that same exact belt was rumored to be the title before they unveiled the blue one. And then WWE was like, well, we'll pump the brakes here real quick. I do like that they have brought 2 new titles into it's the same title, but 2 new variations of it into the picture at the same time.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I love that they got somebody like Tom Savini to do this. I don't know who reached out to who or how this came, but the fact that they had a horror makeup artist icon
wasn't Tom Savini the same one who did his mask? I want to say I'm pretty sure that's who he said did his mask.
It could be, and it would make sense.
Yeah.
So I just love that they actually had that somebody cared enough to put authenticity to it. It wasn't like, oh, let's just get somebody who can whip something up. It was like, let's get the man.
Yeah.
Let's get somebody who could make, anybody could have made that belt almost look just as good for $500, but they got somebody who made it perfect for $6,500. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's good. I just wish I could afford it. I on the other hand, am very eager to get my hands on the replica headlamp. I'm gonna put up a corner shelf, and it's gonna sit on the shelf in the corner for the rest of the time. It's gonna be great.
Or you could just go to your local cemetery, dig somebody up, and throw a fucking glow stick in it. I mean,
Yeah.
either one works,